Hello, Animal Science. Thank you guys for being here today. I'm sorry that I can't be here today. So I spent the weekend taking James to the doctor, and we've determined that he has a pretty nasty intestinal virus, and I'm going to be home with him for at least a couple more days. I will be back Wednesday through Friday this week because either James will be better or Grandma is coming to the rescue. Hooray for grandmas. That's important because we have lots of labs to do on Wednesday and Thursday. We will be doing your Raising the Beet lab, so please make sure that you bring any materials that you need for that lab you have designed on Wednesday or Thursday, whichever day you have class, so that you are ready to execute that lab. On Friday and hopefully the following Monday, we then will follow up with another lab with some live animals. We have a research lab where we will be working with pill bugs. The pill bugs have arrived, so we will be doing the lab now, even though it's kind of out of order. Today, you guys are going to be focusing on a research project. This research project is the first step in your final project, so it's actually really important that you guys focus in on this research project today and do your best to complete it well, because it makes the rest of your project really easy if you've got the research done and done well. If you don't have your research done, you'll get halfway through your design project and then feel tight for time and have to go back and research, and that's a bummer. So what I need you guys to do to start today is turn to page 50 in your Ag Science notebook, because we need to do a little bit of an introduction on what this unit is going to be like. And while you guys do that, I'm going to jump over to that page here in OneNote. And you guys will be completing 331 today. So real quickly, I just want to give a little bit of context. Our final project, go away, is going to be over a facility design. So for sake of time today, I want you guys to read through the preface here and highlight important things, but the video is going to get too long, so I'm going to let you read that on your own time, and I want to scroll down and talk about concepts and performance objectives. So if you guys turn to page 51, you can follow along with these. So your final project has many components to it. The actual product that you'll be producing is a scale drawing of a facility that you design for an animal of your choosing. But to get there, we're going to do several activities and a couple of labs to help you feel well prepared and researched for designing that facility. So the major concepts we're going to be looking at are, number one, that animal facilities differ based on the food requirements, environmental factors, species, use, and size of the operation. That the biosecurity practices, or the practices that you implement to keep an animal healthy, are important to keep pathogens in one place and not spreading from animal to animal. We are going to emphasize that you have to use proper scales, so we're going to do some practice to help you guys draw to scale. And then, of course, we're going to be looking at that animal facilities design and protect the safety and health of animals and handlers, and that they should include biosecurity protocols. So this whole unit ends up just producing one product or one key assignment, and that key assignment ends up being worth 5% of your grade, so it's a big one. And all of this work kind of builds upon itself and will really help you guys be successful with that final project. Now, that being said, if you guys turn to page 52 in your notebooks, that is the records page that you're going to use for your research today, and then this will be a reference page for you throughout the rest of your final project. So I'm going to read the purpose for you and give you a little bit of background, and then you guys are going to spend the day to research, and then we'll pick up with your labs on Wednesday and Thursday. So the purpose for this activity says, shelters for humans have evolved greatly over time. The process of continuous improvement has provided people with advanced protection from the sun, wind, rain, and snow, allowing homes to be built in less than favorable environments and conditions. Just as advancements have been made in human shelters, livestock and poultry shelters have become more sophisticated, providing the ideal growing condition for animals. People choose shelter based on lifestyle choices, like our finances and location, rather than specific needs for space. However, people who raise animals, producers, house livestock animals in the most space and cost-efficient manner. So we don't want to provide so much space for the animal that we can't afford it, right? We got to be cost-effective or efficient. You may have a bedroom, a bathroom, a kitchen, and a living room in a house that you share with your family, but could you maintain a satisfactory lifestyle with less? What type of space does an animal need to maintain its lifestyle? And what requirements are needed to be considered when producing an animal? So your materials today, you guys can use your computers to help with the research, but I also highly recommend that you reference our textbooks. If you choose to research a commonly held pet species, the green textbook in the chapter related to your animal, it has information about space requirements that is very reliable. So I highly recommend to go crack a textbook. If you're doing one of our livestock species, a larger animal, all of that same information for the large animals is in the ugly grayish brown textbook, so go crack one of those. I know books are scary, but they are your friends. Go look in a book. All right, our procedures for this activity, you guys are just going to research and record your key information on the worksheet on page 52. So I'm going to scroll down and let's take a look at that worksheet so that you guys have a better sense of what you're supposed to do. So the first thing I want you to do is at the top of the page, don't write your name, write what animal you are researching. You may choose to research any animal you would like, but I highly recommend that you do a domestic animal or a very well-known exotic animal, like an animal that we have lots of research about so that you can actually find good information on them. Ultimately, when we get this project all done, you have to design a facility for between 10 and 15 of that species. So you're not just designing, what do I need in my house to have a dog? You're designing what would I need to design a kennel facility for a dog, or a veterinary clinic facility for a dog, or a breeding facility for an animal. Or if you choose an exotic animal, you might be designing a zoo facility. So there's going to be a lot that's required in this, and it's important that you select an animal that isn't necessarily going to be easy to research, but that there is information available. If you want to do, I don't know, what's a weird animal? If you wanted to research a hippopotamus, there's probably information on hippopotamus and you'd be okay. If you wanted to research, some strange, obscure Australian lizard, that might be tricky. So please pick your animal wisely and write that as the name at the top of your page so that you and I both know what you're researching. Now, if we look at the table you're filling in, the first thing you'll notice is that I want you to research several different types of housing. So for example, if you were researching a dog and caring for dogs, you might have dog houses, you might have dog kennels, you might have just open air space for dogs. You might have indoor housing facilities. I want you to look at several different ways that animal could be housed. And then you're going to research the actual space requirements. How much physical space, square footage, do adult or mature and producing animals need? How much do baby versions of that species need? And then if you're doing a livestock species, you'll also need to research how much do the animals need when they are finishing. So if you're to the feedlot stage in your animal, how much space do they need on a feedlot? Next, you'll notice for adult and young or finishing animals, you need to have their thermal neutral zone, which is just what is the comfortable temperature for that animal species. Human beings know that we like to live at somewhere around the mid-70s to be at a comfortable temperature. Most of us, if we get down into the 60s or up into the 80s, we start to feel uncomfortable. So our thermal neutral zone would be somewhere around in the 70s, right? So an animal is also going to have a thermal neutral zone, and you should research what that is. You should also research how much water is each animal going to need per day so that you know how much you need to provide. Next, I want you to look up several different feeding systems. Again, if I am looking at dogs, I can pour an individual bowl of food for each dog, but if I have 15 dogs, that's going to be kind of a pain. I could look at feeding hoppers that are going to self-feed those dogs. I could look at some sort of automated system. I don't know what's out there. You need to research several different feeding systems. Same thing with water. I don't want to fill 15 water bowls 12 times a day. I want to have some sort of automatic watering system for the dogs that I'm designing a facility for, but I need to research what are some different types of water systems so that when I do my design, I can incorporate those in. And then all animals are going to come with poop and urine. How are you going to manage that? You need to look at what are some actual systems to help manage it. I know it's gross, but you need to know how are you going to deal with the poop, because you got to deal with it. Trust me, I've been dealing with lots of James poop. It's part of your future. Just enjoy it. All right, and then finally, at the very bottom, I want you to research the regional climate statistics for Rapid City, because whatever animal you are going to design a facility for, it needs to be housed in Rapid or in the western South Dakota region. So as we know, we have some variance in our seasons. I want you to find the average temperature, average humidity, and average wind speed for each one of the seasons, because that's going to impact your design facility. If you are raising snakes in Rapid City, you can't just have an open air facility. You have to have a plan for the winter, because those snakes are not going to make it out in the open air in the winter. And that's why you need this data for when we do our facility design for later. So at this point, I'm going to let you guys go ahead and start getting to work. You may choose your species, just choose wisely. This is an independent project. There will be no team projects for this because it's an independent final. Remember that the result of this research and the project that's going to be based on it is worth 5% of your grade, so it's a big deal. So do a good job in your research, do the best you can. As you go through, you may find that there's not just one recommendation for how much space an animal needs. There's flexibility in some of these numbers. You can use your judgment to pick the one that seems most appropriate to provide appropriate welfare for the species that you're researching. All right, good luck, guys, and I will see you in our lab on Wednesday or Thursday.